everybody. This here is a classic Mini.
And this is a car with a Mini badge on it.
And today, we're going to have a look through both of them, see which one is better and why. But normally, on the internet, this is what people do. They buy a car because they wanted it, and then they make a video telling you about why they think that that's the best car.
And normally they might own one of them, but in our case, this gentleman owns both of them, so we can be completely impartial and be the world's best car reviewing channel.
Welcome to another episode of Mighty Car Mods. I own two Minis. Well, I own one Mini and that car has a Mini badge on it. This one here is a classic Mini that we actually found in Japan. It's a J-spec Mini, but it's been converted, hasn't it, Martin?
It has. It's had a little bit of work done to it, this one.
So underneath here, to acknowledge its kind of Japanese heritage, it has an engine from a Honda Civic, B16B, Type R, VTEC. What have you got over there, Martin?
Here I have a Mini that was made by BMW. So this one here was the last that Rover had to do with anything, and then BMW went, we'll have Mini thanks, and this is what they came up with. Well, this is a latest generation of this particular platform. This is turbocharged. It is still front wheel drive, just like this. It's still kind of got a bit of the boxy proportions going on, but it does have a bit of a reputation.
Martin, it has a reputation. The people who love these reckon these are big, heavy, fat, too much technology, too expensive, and probably for the same money, not as fast as a Golf GTI. But Martin, I want to show you something cool. Try and open the bonnet. Oh, you knew. How did you know?
It's got a little sign there that says 2X.
You've got to do the double pull, and then look at this, Martin. You can actually fist it through its holes.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So you can't see really much in there compared to what you can see in here. But the first thing we need to speak about, of course, we're going through a series of challenges today, including some that you have had input on. But the first thing we need to talk about being a Mini is their size and their weight. Now, straight up, that there is around 1.25 tonne. Classic Minis, around 670 kilograms. So half the weight. But here's what we want to do now, Martin. Take a Mighty Car Mods measuring tape. For the first challenge, we're going to do a quick little walk around and see which one of these Minis is actually Mini. The classic Mini is one of the most important and iconic designs that the human species has ever created. It was designed as a small car, hence why it's called a Mini, and the wheels are pushed out to all four corners to make enough room inside for four adults.
Also one of the sort of original front-wheel drive cars that was actually very, very capable.
Martin, it just occurred to me yet in our very professional video series, we haven't actually told anybody about these cars. So before we get the measuring tapes out, let us tell you a little bit more about the Minis and that car with the Mini badge. The classic Mini truly is one of the most recognisable and iconic vehicles of all time. It was designed by Alec Isagonis and made by BMC, the British Motor Corporation, or whoever owned the brand at various times between 1959 and the year 2000, and they have sold a lot of them. I'm talking 5.5 million. This one is made by Rover and is known as the Mark 7, the final version before BMW took over the brand. And this one specifically is a Mini BSCC Limited from Japan, where these cars were hugely popular due to the busy streets and tight spaces. Now, while it doesn't fit within the K-car class, thousands of these cars were sold to people in Japan that wanted a unique small car with loads of heritage. This one originally came with a 1.3 litre four-cylinder engine, but mine has had some substantial modifications, including a new subframe kit, better wheels, upgraded brakes and suspension, and a 5-speed box with a 1.6 litre engine from a Honda Civic Type R, all run through a modern Haltech ECU. And today it'll be competing in a number of challenges down at Sydney International Dragway car park to see if it really is still the best Mini.
And over in my somewhat larger corner, I've got a 2020 BMW Mini Cooper S with some extra stuff stuck on it that says John Works. Behind the Mini styling though, there is some solid technology that makes this car a real player in the front-wheel drive Euro hatch segment, and they've been making them for nearly a quarter of a century, so its design is now somewhat a classic in itself. 2-litre turbo, 8-speed dual-clutch transmission, 0 to 100 in 6.1 seconds, and 231 horsepower or 172 kilowatts, which is more than your stock WRX or Silvia can manage without a 2J swap.
So now back to the program, people. Let's start off with just across the front, Martin. Now I am sitting at 130 centimetres, which is called 51 inches in some people's talk.
I'm at 160 centimetres or 63 inches.
Can you bring yours over here so I can just see how much? You get it. Wow.
About there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm 140 centimetres approximately, which in the inches is 55 inches.
170 or 67 inches.
It's bigger.
Yeah, much. 370, 146 inches, 290, 114.
The new one's bigger.
I mean, we could have probably Googled that, but it is interesting to see it in real life with some actual measuring sticks.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it with your eyeballs.
You can see that as well.
So next up, people, let's have a quick talk about probably the most important one in this day and age, and that is price. A huge determining factor when it comes to deciding what car you want to buy is, of course, the price, and also how it drives. We'll be getting to that soon, but the price is usually the big one. People choose how much they can actually afford to spend on a car, and that there decides what kind of car they get. Now, this is an interesting one because this car here, you can get them for around $40,000. We actually got that one for much less due to, well, you can have a look up here, a scam video that we made recently. These here in their stock form also worth around $40,000, but this one, because it's had so much work done to it and is fully engineered, is worth a whole lot more.
They're both insured with Shannon's Insurance agreed value, and the reason is if an alien race decides to beam up an example of the best old front-wheel drive car ever made,
Which
and
is mine.
and you had to replace it, what would that cost? Now, there's a lot more in this in terms of customization, modification, all the time and money getting it engineered. That does come into it when you speak to Shannon's. They know why this would be worth so much more to insure.
So when it comes to value, that's a tricky one to talk about because obviously price of that will go down over time. Potentially this will stay the same or go up.
Yep.
But when it comes to initial lay out of price or time, money, funds to get these cars, this one is the winner.
Now, this is a front-wheel drive car designed to get you to work, but it does have a few little touches of luxury coming into it, which is not what you'd expect from the sort of very, very basic Mini of yesteryear, but we've got all these really nice detailed switches. You've got this layout, you've got some throwbacks to the classic center dash that the old Minis used to have as well. Some things I really like about it, it seems simple, but when you move the column up and down, the instrument cluster comes with you. That's all digital. Of course, you've got all your CarPlay, Android Auto stuff to connect your phone, which is so important. You've got a good stereo in here as well. Aircon, cruise control. All these sort of controls are really nice. And what I will give them credit for is it doesn't feel like it's just pure plastic function. It feels like they've really put some effort into sort of making sure everything just looks very stylized, which I think is a good thing, particularly for the kind of buyer that's going to go for a car like this. And this one being the John Cooper Works Special Edition, you get a little bit of extra fruity stuff for your money.
In the interior of my Mini, I've got a steering wheel and a horn. There's 3 pedals. It's manual. That's it really. There's the smallest glove box you've ever seen. Absolutely tiny. A very basic head unit here, which can connect to my phone. I obviously don't have the Apple CarPlay and all of that stuff, but what I do have is a quad lock mount. This is great if you've got old cars or cars that don't have all of this technology. If you get a compatible case, which I have here, they are a sponsor of the show, you literally put that up there like that, you lock it on, then you can run your maps and stuff off that. So that's a handy thing to have. It's pretty basic in here, but it does have leather seats. There's also wood in here as well, like a nice wooden dash, which is pretty cool. It does have the coolest door handles and window winders you've ever seen on any car, and these mad little mirrors. That's about it, people. It's pretty basic. Martin, let's move on to the next challenge. Okay, so the newer Mini may win when it comes to technology, but let's talk about a big one, street cred. Now, Martin, I'm going to define street cred as rolling up to a car meet and the people there actually know about cars. They know what they're talking about.
I can do one better. Did you see what happened about 30 minutes ago on the way here?
No.
You were driving this, I was behind you in this. We were going across, there was a truck stop, and there was a dude in high-vis walking across the road. And did you see him give you the thumbs up?
I did.
So he went like that with you, and as I drove past, I was looking at him, he just went, Like straight away. Like he's like, what's like not even twig that I was driving a car with a Mini badge.
Well, that's almost the answer, but here's the thing. If you're gonna turn up to like a Cars and Coffee and you turn up in a stock version of this, or you turn up in this, what do you think has the greatest street cred, Martin?
Well, I think they're going to assume that the person that rocks up in this is the real estate agent that runs the facility where the Cars and Coffee's gone.
Okay.
Whereas this is no question, that's there for me.
So unanimous, right? So
Yeah,
you and I agree on that?
Of course.
And then the moment you hear it's got VTEC as well, even more so.
And if people are wondering kind of why that is, I want to dive in just for a second as to why. I think the effort to keep something like this on the road, now this is only a 99 model, but that's still like, that's an old car, right?
Yep.
Like, the effort to keep it on the road, the amount of regos you've had to pay, the amount of repairs you've had to do, you've had to look after. You can't leave it out in the weather for that amount of time without it rusting to bits. I think that's partly what people appreciate when they see an older and cooler and modified car rock up. I think that's kind of what it is. I still think this is a cool car, but that just has that extra sizzle.
Yeah. So I think we can definitely give this the point, street cred. But what do you reckon? We're about to find out because we polled you to find out which one you thought you would rather own. We placed a public poll on the community page of the Mighty Car Mods YouTube channel and 33,000 of you voted with an overwhelming response of 87% of you preferring the old Mini, mostly saying that the new one is too big.
Well, if it was like a real estate agenting channel, maybe it would have been different. I'm surprised anyone voted for this at all, but some of you did. Probably all five of you that own them, or bots who are like on there at the bottom of the comments going, please check out my profile. It's you. Now that we've given a bit of history and initial impressions, it's time for the driving test. So this has all the sport mode stuff, like modes that you can choose. So right now, if I drop it into like sporty sport and manually do it, turn traction control off. But that's not a slow car, is it?
That's fast.
That's pretty good. Like for a late model front wheel drive thing, there's obviously a bit of traction control smarts in there, like, you know, trying to make sure that we don't spear off and, you know, run into a bus full of nuns. But it feels good. It feels heavy.
It does. It feels heavy even passengering in it.
What I've noticed as well with cars like this, sometimes it's like, I don't know if it's a Euro thing or they want the car to feel solid, but they make everything heavy, even though the car itself is still a reasonably small car.
Yeah.
When I put it back into like green mode, it all lightens up a bit.
Yeah.
It feels a bit more like drive to the shops.
Where's the noise? Like it doesn't, is that sport mode?
Yeah, that's sport mode. We'll give it another little rip up here, but that is sport mode. And I'll just do it in order this time. I'll let it do it. So I'm just gonna nail it. 3, 2, 1, go. Bit of tyre squeal, both gears.
It is a quick car.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Like it is quick.
It's not bad, but what I would say is, it's got the dual clutch thing of sort of being a bit lazy to get going.
Yeah.
You know, like you sort of got to wait for the clutch to engage, and then once it goes, it changes gears really fast.
Yeah,
like a Volkswagen badge car.
There's quite a lot of buttons. I don't mind the kind of toggle looking thing, but there's a lot also going on down here that I gather is like for this screen.
Yeah.
And
a lot of buttons.
Oh yeah, it's got like wireless charging. I guess it's got all the things that you'd expect of a car that's made in 2020 onwards.
And I think they need to keep up, don't they? Because if you have the car that doesn't have all this, people will not buy it just based on that tech.
Yes.
They'll go, nah, I'm not keen. I'll go buy the, you know, some other thing.
That's how much room there is in the back. If we are sitting here at our normal situation,
Yep.
that is how much room there is behind the seat. So your legs need to be that skinny.
So now we'll go into green mode, because it's just got a toggle switch here that goes green, mid, and sport.
Yeah.
So now we just go into green mode and do the same thing. So now full auto, traction control on, and just straighten up and go.
Oh wow.
Does a little fart when you change gears. It's not a slow car. I mean, you're going to buy this and you're going to drive it on the highway and you're going to go, this is all most people need.
Oh, we're used to driving fast cars though, and it just feels a little bit slow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that,
You know what I'm saying?
might be coming into it.
Maybe it's got a launch mode, Martin. Should we try and launch it?
Yeah, let's do it. So that's going to be sport. It must have a launch. It sounds kind of cool, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I think what we've established here is that feels like a Golf GTI.
Not as fast.
Not as brutally fast. The inside looks a bit like an Apple Watch.
The whole car looks a little Apple Watch, a little round.
If you're into that sort of stuff, you're gonna love it. And it's not slow, but I can't really rave about performance being blisteringly amazing or anything, right? And the fact that when you pull the handbrake up, it knocks your armrest. And another thing is, when you put the armrest away, you can never put the armrest fully away.
Yeah.
Like, it's always here. So ergonomically, I don't think it's like amazing either.
Martin, I would give the interior overall, these seats,
Good.
good
great,
seats,
yeah.
good adjustability. They've got the RS3 thing where it kind of slides out a little bit.
Yep.
Overall, I would give the interior 7, but I'm giving it an extra point because they've gone, let's just not make it a Corolla or a Kia.
Oh, totally.
Like, they've actually put some effort in making it a bit weird.
Yep.
Should we go get in the real one?
Yes, that's it.
All right, Martin. Old Mini Cooper.
It's true what they say though. You got like the small on the outside, big on the inside. I've got enough space. I'm 6'1". I have enough space, and there's more room.
There's that much room in the back.
There's actually more room. Like, not necessarily wide, but I'm comfy. This is good.
Of course, we know that this is not representative of the power plant of the original Mini.
Yep.
It's not. But this is the Mini that I own. So this is what we're going to show. Straight up, you got 3 pedals. It's easy to drive. It feels light, as you would expect that it should. There is no technology in here, is there?
There's a head unit, which I guess you could put a CarPlay in it, and you got a heater tap thing.
Yeah.
And then the thing that either goes windscreen, feet, or everywhere. That's what you get.
Driving along feels really tight, doesn't it? Like, it feels, even though it's got a bit of old carness to it,
Yeah.
it feels like it's really, really grippy.
It sticks, man.
And I mean, I've been driving this on the track and had the rear end coming out, which on a front wheel drive car I think is impressive, you know?
Yeah.
Just the cornering ability of these old cars. I'll just go hard here, look at this.
Yeah, that's tight, isn't it?
Like, that is amazing.
Yeah, that's 40 k's an hour and just goes whoop, straight around.
It's a 5-speed in this one. Inside, we got these really nice leather seats, nice carpet, redone the headlining, all in black, and that's kind of all there is to say, really. It's kind of no frills. It's a nice place to be. We've got a little bit of VTEC, of course, because it's a Honda Civic engine, so we'll give you a hit of this.
I forget, man. I just forget. It's because it's so well behaved now.
Yes.
But then you get all that as well.
Yeah, and it's
crazy.
It really is just hitting VTEC and just holding on, isn't it?
It really is.
Like, when it comes in, you just got to hit it and then just...
And your steering wheel is barely moving, but the car's doing this as it's fighting to, like, for traction.
Yes.
And I think it's worth saying that new Mini has all the electronic stability stuff to keep it behaved, right?
Yes.
You know, you can brake wheels, it's smart diffs, all that sort of stuff. You don't get any of that with a car at this age.
No.
So it's way more raw.
The kind of, the ECU is your own brain
And your
in
hands.
terms of that, and you just kind of running
And
it.
your willingness to let it move like meters at a time.
Yeah.
But that's a big power in a little front wheel drive car. That's just what's going to happen.
So I
Pretty
guess,
cool.
Martin, driving experience, I would give it like a 9.
Oh, easily.
Like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
General interior, I'm going to call it like a 9 as well.
Yeah. It's
Like,
pretty nice.
other than lacking some technology and some air conditioning, everything is exactly where you want it. You can touch everything as you need it. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's great.
And it has that element of fancy as well. Like all the wood grain, I think wood grain normally looks shite. In a car like this, of this era, it looks great.
Yeah.
It looks like it's meant to be. And the gold, green and brown thing, it works.
Do you reckon it feels faster than the new Mini?
It feels faster. It's probably not, but the aggressiveness of it is often what makes something feel fast, don't you reckon?
Yeah.
Like grabbing and holding onto like a tiger's tail rather than getting on a camel and just going.
Well, maybe what we do, Martin, is I reckon we just do a little go to woe.
Sure.
Because we also don't have ABS here either. We got kind of normal
Yeah.
old school brakes.
Yep.
So I think what we do is a little go to woe. Then we do like a little drag race.
Yep.
But
Keen.
before we do that, I just want to do a drive-by external
Yeah.
so that we can rate the sounds of each of the cars.
Done.
So just a fly past and decide which one sounds better.
Let's hear it. Here we go, noise test. Let's hold it in first. 3, 2, 1, go. It's pretty underwhelming. It's okay, I guess. It's okay.
No, it's not okay.
Could you hear it?
Did you do it yet?
Yeah, of course I just...
No, but do it in its sport mode.
That was sport mode.
We're going to have to fix that with a proper intake and a performance exhaust, but now it's time for Go to Woe. Alright, this is the classic Go to Woe challenge. Basically, we will go from 0 to 70, then put the brakes on. Whichever car does that in the shortest distance is the winner. How are you going over there, Martin?
I'm good to go. It's basically an automatic car. So I mash the pedal and then mash the brake, and that's my job.
Are you using some like naughty computery control stuff, or are you going to just use your foot?
I think what I am going to do to make it a little bit more fair is I'm just going to turn my traction control off, because that's just going to be annoying anyway.
Are you only turning the traction control off so you can use launch control though?
But I'm just going to mash the pedal, dude. That's how you do it in these cars.
Because I've got to use both my hands and both my feet, and you've only got to use one foot, I'll let you count it in.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Shockingly, that's a win for the classic Mini.
And the reason for that, I reckon it's actually quite close, is just dual clutch lag, man. And that was in sports mode, no traction control, whatever, and it didn't really wheel spin that much.
Mine did.
Yeah, but yours went. But also this is power to weight. Like, yes, okay, that's got power from a turbo, but this also weighs nothing. This is where Go to Woe. You're not stopping 1.5 tons of metal, you're stopping 700 kilos. So I think that's pretty legit. Could I fine tune that with different settings and manual modes and all that sort of stuff? Maybe, but that's not what happens in real life.
But what if you went 3, 2, plant, 1, go?
Then I get a second head start. That's not fair. You won that legitimately. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a rolling race. We're gonna go up to this bin that's up here and we're gonna nail it and just see what happens. Takes my crappy launch out of the equation, takes away some of your advantage, but also I'm interested to see just power to weight. This is a perfect example of what can happen with a different power to weight ratio.
Turbo versus VTEC. There's a lot of Honda owners watching right now, desperate to see the result.
All right, shall we do it? So 3, 2, 1, we roll up to that bin at around 25, 30 k's an hour and then we hit it.
All right, let's do it.
3, 2, 1, roll off, let's go. Finally won something. Yeah, that was good. It's like, I think it just has longer legs, and when the speed came up, it just kept going.
I want to do it again, but from a launch.
Do it.
Next up, we're doing a classic kind of a drag race. I think what was interesting about the roll race is that if your car is as doughy down low as it feels, the difference that you were ahead of me now potentially should be negated.
You got not much weight in that car and a lot of power. And this has a lot of weight and an okay amount of power and a bit of a slushy gearbox. So we'll see. Let's do it. I'll count it in again. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh my God. Yes! Dude, this thing off the line is just like...
How is that?
This thing off the line, man. It just doesn't want to go. Like, you literally... watch right now. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Like, can you see how doughy that is?
Pretty bad, dude.
And that just lost me a race.
How did this look and sound? That's all I want to know.
So good, man. It was like an angry swarm of bees right in my, in my ear hole.
Did it feel like you were gaining?
Not really. This is just power to weight, man. This can have more power and boost and all this stuff, but it's got to move twice the weight.
So Martin, quick recap. What did this win again?
Nothing. Replaceability, I believe, is the one that it won. Okay. Can you get another one? Yes, you can.
And technology.
Yeah, it's put better tech for sure. And I mean, look, safety's a thing too, right? Like if you want a car that, has all the crash ratings and all up to date and a million airbags and all that sort of stuff, then yeah, great. Well, it lost because of the delay, the lag with the clutch, which I realise makes it probably a nicer car to drive on the road, because actually, if that was really responsive, it would just smoke the wheels because it's got the power.
Yeah. I guess the thing though is that
I don't know. It's a weird one to compare. In some way, it's not weird because they're both cars that carry the same name badge.
They're minis.
And in a way, this here is meant to be. That's the way that the water has flowed. It's gone from here to that. The fresh waters have flowed down here, but in between here and here, someone took a shit in it. Do you know what I mean?
The tainted water. The thing is though, like these motorsport, you can't talk about minis without talking about motorsport. Motorsport matters a lot to some people, not me. It's really important. People have been thrashing these on racetracks for years, forever.
Yeah, I'm not taking that rallying though.
Well, no, but they've been rallying. They've done circuit racing. There's people that do mini series like races in them.
Yeah.
At grassroots events, you will still see these.
Yeah. And I think it's good that people are driving them, actually using them.
Guess what you're not seeing at those events? Not really. I mean, there's other choices that are lighter with similar power, and if you're really into your racing and you want to win, you're probably not going to be in one of these.
Maybe.
But it would be fun on a track, I reckon.
Well, I think what we should do to finish with, being that minis are famous for their handleability. Is that a real word, handleability?
Handling, I don't know. That's what you say about slow cars, isn't it?
Well, they handle well.
You fixed the problem with that. That's not slow anymore.
Is we set up a little motorcana.
Yep.
We do a timed thing. We just do it for fun. We see what happens. The other thing that I did want to discuss though, because most cars that are newer and a bit boring, what they don't have is a massive community of people who are modifying them.
Yeah.
That does.
It does.
There are so many mods available for them. There are so many people that are modifying them. If you forget that it does look like a kind of an Apple Watch, which I notice you've taken off, that's a little bit round around the edges and stuff, it's still a 2-litre turbocharged thing that is meant to be fast.
Yeah. And I would still argue it's better looking than a lot of the boring rubbish that comes out of a lot of other manufacturers.
That's true.
It really does. And doesn't look like a robot either, which is where everything's going now.
It's too
The
robot.
more robot you can make it, then people love that apparently.
I never liked that. Even droid kits back in the day.
Yeah.
Didn't
made
love
me
them.
feel weird.
But the thing is, if you want to buy modifications for this, there is so much available. This car was made to modify. And I remember when I went to that Mini fan meet, and I went, oh, I've got a Honda engine in here. And I was like, what do you think? And the judges were like, that's what minis are for. They're meant to be modified, like they're meant to be celebrated like that. And this, we don't see many of them modified in Australia, but in Japan, people go to town on these. So that's some kind of good inspiration for potentially where that can go.
Are you going to go to town on it?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, if you said no, I would have been actually worried about you.
Yeah, no, don't. You don't need to be worried.
Okay, good.
About
All right,
me.
let's do a motor car. Now, let's race. I'm very curious because that is laggy. We've identified the weakness in it.
Yeah.
Now, can it be overcome with some handling and some modern stuff?
Let's find out. I need a clutch.
You do need a clutch. Could have been tyre smoke. Could be either in that thing. You never really know.
I think it's a little bit. One nostril smelled like rubber. The other one smelled like clutch.
Well, that means you're having a good time, right? I'm ready to go, mate.
Are you?
Yep, sports mode. I'm not going to bother with flappy paddles because I noticed in flappy paddle mode, it will take it off you if it's not happy with your selection. It goes, no, you don't get it. Yeah, and we don't like the machines telling us what to do. So I'm going to go sport mode and just leave it in sport mode for now.
Okay. All right, man.
Ready?
I'll count you in. Are you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, the delay though. Oh, this is tight for a big car. Oh no, I hit a cone. Not allowed to use a handbrake, unfortunately. Twice around this cone, twice around this cone, twice around this cone. Now I get to use the acceleration early on the throttle. Here we go. Whoa, 4 wheels. Skids, no skids, no skids, no skids. Not allowed to do skids, that's part of the rules. Come on.
Alright. Do you want the score now or should I do mine and then reveal the scores later?
Tell me after. I don't think there's a way to wrestle a car. This actually feels big on that course.
Okay.
Like it feels big and porky.
It's I'm gonna show the camera what you did, just so it can see.
Okay.
Alright, let's take the
See what you got.
and see how it goes.
Alright.
For mini enthusiasts everywhere, I know that this is not a car that's powered with the same engine that you have. I know it's different, but I still feel like I'm representing you. I'm representing the past, I'm representing nostalgia, I'm representing the footsteps in the sand. Not the sand ahead where the... Oh, you're there.
What are you talking about?
Hi, mate.
Just race the car.
Oh, hi, mate. How you going? All right, we ready?
Yep. 3, 2, 1, go!
Yes. Feels good. Woo! What a drive!
That was good. That was really good.
You got 45.6.
Oh,
What did I get?
it looked really fast.
What was that? 49.42.
It looked fast.
You hit 2 cones with a plus 3 second penalty. How many did I hit?
None.
Okay, so you've got 46 plus 6, so you're at 52.
Oh no.
I'm at
Got it. And
49.42.
you know what? That's actually reasonable because the Maxi is too fat for that course.
Is
It's
it?
just fat, like you can't get it through there.
Well, I also couldn't use any of my VTEC
No.
because it wasn't long enough.
No.
Once or twice you'd hear a little as all the unicorns were released. But Martin, that was a whole lot of fun.
It was great.
Thank you. What a crazy little car, dude. Just crazy.
So good.
This is kind of unique because usually you have a car that you really care about and I've got a car that I care about, and now I've got a car that I really care about and you've got a car that I care about a little bit.
Always more fun to thrash a car you don't care about, isn't it?
True.
Because you just drive the pants off it and go as quick as you possibly can. They're surprisingly even. And again, what we've learned today is power to weight, people. Like power to weight, it weighs nothing and it makes enough power, 1.6 litre engine. And this is heavy, but you get all that other luxury from it, don't you?
Yeah.
You really do. You could drive across Australia in that and be totally good.
It's comfortable and it works, and I also understand is that all of the weird beards, myself included, that own classic ones can find 100 reasons why that's not good. But if you've never owned one of them, and let's be honest, you probably never will, that is a nice little gateway, even if it's a bit further down the river,
Yeah.
to give you a little taste of fun, front-wheel drive, frivolity.
Yeah, and that's really what it is. At the end of the day, just having a bit of fun with something like this. I like it more. Having now thrashed it, I like it a bit more.
Good.
I just don't understand. There's a few things I don't get. Why has it got a laggy dual clutch? That makes no sense.
Maybe that can be fixed with a tune.
Probably.
We'll get to that. There will
Yeah.
be some mods coming up on that car. I'm going to do a little bit of research, find a few different recipes, a few different things that people do. I'm also just going to do some really kind of basic mods to show you stuff like of what to do when you first get a car. I know that particularly like this year and the last couple of years, we've done these really big builds, big engines and stuff, and some people are like going, give us some really basic driveway stuff. So there's going to be some of that happening as well. And Martin, I think that's about it.
I think that's about it. It's also worth noting that this is not over either.
Oh no.
This is one of those situations where it needs a bit of love. Couple of cars from the garage, you're getting a bit of love. That's what I'm going to say.
And hopefully a bit of a clutch. Of course, if you want to support the show, we really appreciate it when you do. You can go to the Mighty Car Mods website. There's loads of merch there, from clothing, there's car accessories, digital downloads of music, there's hats, there's sunnies, there's all sorts of stuff. It directly goes and helps support the show, so we'd love it if you could do that. We'll send it to you anywhere in the world.
We will.
Martin, what do Mini drivers eat?
It would be like reconstituted tofu poke bowl with extra kale and extra.
That sounds
That's
good.
not supposed to sound good.
Oh, no, that sounds really
no,
good.
it sounds. What?
Oh, okay.
Let's
No,
go
I
get a
thought
burger.
that sounded quite
Let's
good.
go get a burger. You can get one of the not burger things.
Not burgers. They're good. Are you? You want to come with me, Martin?
You got a mate who can just drive that.
Can
mate?
that car do skids?
I don't know.
Like, did you actually work out if that could do a skid?
Yeah, probably.
No, but maybe it has a mode that it can't actually do a skid.
Yeah, probably.
Like maybe it doesn't actually have the ability to sit
I
there
have no idea.
and just kind of smoke up some wheels.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Like because I've got a clutch here,
You know
I can
what?
just do this. I can just go.